Hey guys, how's it going? This is Marcia here, co-founder of Midwest Performance. We are on episode number 9 of Coffee with MP, and I am super excited. We have a very, very special guest, which I'm thrilled to introduce to you guys. Next to me is sitting founding Midwest Performance member, Jessica Brown. Jessica has been with us since June of 2016, is that correct?
That's right.
So we're going on almost 2 years here with Jessica. So today I'm very excited for Jessica to be able to share her journey and success with Midwest Performance. So with that being said, let's go ahead. If you could, just tell the audience a little bit about yourself. And Facebook just went down.
Hey, like Marcia said, my name is Jessica, and I've been here at Midwest for, since about June of 2016. Coming up on 2 years, and it's been good. A little bit about how things got started, or you want me to?
Yeah, just kind of tell them like your journey prior to starting the Midwest Performance, and what led you to actually starting with Midwest Performance. What was the drawing point where you're like, I got to do something?
Okay, so pretty much my struggle was constantly with, I would try different things, different weight loss programs, different type of pills, pretty much anything just to try to lose weight. And pretty much once things would start, I would find myself trying out different things after a couple weeks or months. If it didn't work or it started to work, but then it wasn't working anymore, then I would just stop and pretty much give up and just say, well, just forget about it. I'll do whatever it is that I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's just enjoying life and eating whatever it is that I wanted.
Yeah.
So one day my sister came to me and was like, hey, I found this this gym thing on Facebook. I'm gonna go check it out. I want you to come with me. And I was like, I ain't gonna go work out. It's like, I don't want to do that. And she begged me to come. So I was like, okay, fine. You know, I'll do it just simply for you because it's not gonna work anyways. So we went ahead and we came, got to meet you and Brittany, and figured that this was going to be a piece of cake, that this was going to be easy, and plus, I know how to work out. I've worked out before. This isn't going to work.
Anything different.
Yeah,
right.
So I wasn't super excited about it, but if it wasn't for my sister, I probably wouldn't have had even taken the time out to even give you guys a try.
I do, however, want to back up a little bit, and we're going to actually expose a little bit of vulnerability here. I remember just like it was yesterday when you came in for your consultation for that 12-week challenge, and you kind of broke down. You actually broke down a little bit. Do you want to kind of, what was the tipping point for you? Like you told yourself you knew you had to do something. There's essentially like a trigger went off, and what was that trigger for you?
I think it was just realizing, like, I love shopping. I love looking for clothes.
We all love shopping, yes.
And it was like when you're shopping, looking at clothes, and things just aren't fitting anymore. You're noticing that the sizes are going up and up and up, and before you know it, you're already in the plus size store, but now you're going into like the larger and larger sizes. And then just even when it came down to my health, and like the doctors were just like I'm diabetic. So the doctors had got to a point that they were just like, you need to do something about yourself. And I'm just like, well, nothing's working. Yeah. I can't, so I think I had just reached to a point that I was simply tired.
Yeah.
And I was tired of constantly going to the doctor with bad feedback, and I was tired of going shopping and not truly being able to buy what I want, and it was just like I was miserable. I was happy, but I was like I wasn't happy. So that was kind of like my tipping point, and I was like, I wanted something to change, and I was like, I don't know what. I can't remember what question it was that you guys asked that like tipped me there, but I do remember sitting there like,
That's okay,
just
right?
Falling.
Yeah. So you mentioned something about being a diabetic. So you had some things that didn't quite work in your favor, and I recall you mentioning, you were taking insulins and all that. Can you actually tell the audience like the types of issues that you had that led you to kind of where you are today? You're kind of medication free. So kind of let the audience know, like, what was it that you were dealing with and the struggles that you had? Because it wasn't easy.
No,
right?
It wasn't easy. With diabetes, it's definitely it's a struggle because you have to constantly watch what it is that you're eating, watch what it is that you're taking in, and constantly taking medicine. When it comes down to the insulin is a weight gainer. So it's like the more and more you take, the harder it is to get off or to get the weight off because you're taking in so much insulin. And I was taking like 2 different types of insulin, and then on top of still taking pills, diabetic pills. So it was already a struggle, and then when it comes down to being on different types of medication for diabetes, you get the side effects, which was the nausea, the dizziness, the lightheadedness, the fatigue. And so when you're working out and you're feeling all of this, and it's like, oh God, am I gonna pass out or not?
So there were times you were actually, when you were working out, you're like, whoa, wait a minute, I got to stop. And I remember that, and it's not, it was not exciting to see, to witness, you know. So I think probably putting myself in your shoes, that's something that you knew, like, okay, this is it, I can't do this anymore, right?
Right. But at the same time, it was like, yeah, I think that I remember one class, I was like literally just leaning against the wall like, oh, this ain't gonna work. Literally giving up, and I think it was like week 2. Yeah. Might have been class 1, I don't know. But it was just that little bit of like, oh, I can't do this. This is too much, you know, but if it wasn't for my sister going, but we're doing this, you know, it's 12 weeks, you know, we're gonna push through this. And I'm like, fine, whatever.
So you had an accountability partner, which is awesome, right? And needless to say, guys, she was here every day, 5 days a week. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, right? Consistently. I don't think you missed one day.
I don't think so. If it was on vacation.
Right.
But
So, but here's the most interesting thing. You did not enjoy working out at all, did you? At all. And I believe you maybe saw it more as a chore. So can you why is that? Why did you feel the way that you did about fitness at the beginning?
You know, I don't know if it was just simply because it was something that growing up wasn't really embedded in me, or we didn't do a lot of it growing up, so I wasn't a huge fan of it, you know. And then when you are, I've been heavy all my life, so when you are a little bit bigger, working out is not like prime on your list of things to do. Right. So I wasn't a fan of it. It had nothing to do with the sweat, it had nothing to do with the workouts. It was just like, why am I doing this? This is wasting my time and I'm not getting skinny. So it was like, it just wasn't, at the time it wasn't important to me.
So then how did you go from hating fitness to all of a sudden like, okay, this isn't that bad at all?
When I saw the results. And it wasn't just like seeing the body change, it was more of the internal physical change. That, like, when I would go to work, and at the time I was commuting back and forth to work, and I had to have my nap on the train going in. I had to have my nap on the train coming home. It was like naps were extremely important, and it was like by the time I got home, it was like, do whatever it is that you have to go do, then go to bed, because I was tired all the time. And from that, within like a week, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks within the 12-week challenge, that was like the first thing that I noticed that was changing. I would be sitting on the train like, oh my God, I cannot go to sleep. Why am I wide awoke? And I've been up since 4 a.m. and I'm not sleepy. And it was like I wasn't taking any like supplemental vitamins, because, you know, back in the day when I was taking the supplemental vitamins, it was like, oh my goodness, you know, now I have the energy that I need. But then the minute I stopped taking them, it was done. So this was like, it was giving me that high per se that I needed. And that was like the first thing that was like, okay, this might be working, but I ain't losing no weight, so.
So speaking of weight, in 12 weeks, how much weight, inches, body fat did you lose?
It was the 37-ish pounds. I remember it was definitely 27.5 inches throughout my entire body. And I want to say the majority of it came from my stomach, was like 16 inches.
That is crazy, insane. Those are some outstanding numbers in just 12 weeks, you know. And 12 weeks, to some people, 3 months, it seems like a long time. But it went by pretty fast.
It went by fast, so fast, but it was fun. So,
that's good.
Yeah.
So what do you do now in the interim since the 12-week challenge? It's been almost a year and a half later. You're still here,
yes,
mind you. And again, you hated fitness, and now do you see it? I recall you saying you're like, I go out and I run outside now, you know, and you do the things that you didn't necessarily used to do before. Like, how does that make you feel, you know, being in that position that you are now versus what you were before?
It feels good. It feels good because in the end, when you do see like so much things have changed in the potential that it's like, oh, I didn't even know I was capable of doing this.
Right.
Like, I'll be somewhere, say going to the mall, and it's like, do you keep circling around trying to find the closest parking spot, or do you kind of like go to the furthest one back and do that little bit of extra sprint? You know, you don't run because it looks crazy running in the mall parking lot, but it's like you do that little bit of extra push to do that. Like if I'm out and about with friends and I'm rushing to get into somewhere, it's not like a quicker step. It's like I literally jog to the door.
That is awesome.
Because I'm one thing, I'd be trying to figure out how soon will I be out of breath, you know, and because before it would just be like 2 or 3 steps of a run, and it's like, that's
I'm
it.
done. Time out. I'm done.
Right, but now it's like you can run from like one end of the parking lot to the other and not be out of breath and be like, I can still do this. Like, that's the type of stuff when I can actually see those changes.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me like, okay, it's working.
Yeah,
it's working.
That's awesome. So it wasn't just physical, it was also mental, and your mindset shifted. So if you could tell the audience, like, how do you keep that positive mindset?
I normally I don't know, it's like it's a focus. It's a focus on a goal of not wanting to go back to where I was. And deep. I think that's mainly the whole thing. It's like, you remember when you were feeling like that. Like, even back past November, I got sick, and I was like literally out for about almost 3 months because I kept getting sick. Even then, it was just like, I felt weird not being here. I felt weird not being able, because it was to a point when I was out and about, finally could leave the house, and it was like, just walking up a flight of stairs, it was like, this, I'm going back. I can't go back to that. I don't want to go back to that. Even when I came to work out, and it was like I had bronchitis and doing burpees, and I would be out of breath, like hacking and coughing and stuff, and I remember Idiot telling me, well, do the burpees on the boxes. And I'm like, I can't go back to that. I'm not going to go back to that. I'm not going to. It's like something about a fear of going back to the way that I was. And I'm like, I refuse to revert back to like doing burpees on the box just because I can't do it. And it's like, I can't. So I keep pushing myself, and I like it. I really do. And it feels good not to have to, you know,
that's awesome to hear, because I want to share something with you guys. And from a study standpoint, UCLA shows that a normal human being has about 80,000 thoughts per day. And out of those 80,000 thoughts, 80% of it is negativity. And just to hear you say, no, I'm not going back. You could have easily gave in and be like, okay, I give up, I'm done. But for you, it's like, this isn't, no, oh, hell no. Like, I got to keep going. So for those of you that are out there and you're telling yourself like, man, you know you need to do something, and you have this one thing on your shoulder saying one thing and the other saying the other, just get up, do something, regardless of where it's at and what stage you are in your fitness. If it's here or elsewhere, just do it. Just get started, because at the end of the day, it's all for a great cause, right? So with that being said, if you had one piece of advice, of anything that you could tell anyone that's watching today, what would that advice be?
It does get easier. It does. I don't know if you or Brittany remember, like, when I first started and my evil stares at you guys. Brittany just laughed. I had evil looks toward them.
I remember it. Look, everybody's giving thumbs up. Hey, don't let this innocent face fool you. Don't let it fool you.
Evil during the workouts. And I remember my sister would laugh so hard at me because she's just like, you're so negative. and in the end, it was just like, despite the evil stares and the looks, and it's like, y'all know this is crazy, I shouldn't be doing this. It works. It gets easier. You feel like this is impossible for me to do. Like, for me to run from the entrance to the back door around the building and not be out of breath, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
That's
and
awesome.
it's like, it gets easier. I'm telling y'all, it gets way easier.
That's awesome. That's so good to hear. So for those of you that are just tuning in, again, we are sitting here with a very special guest, founding member Jessica Brown, who's been with us for almost 2 years now and has lost almost in total 40 pounds, 26 inches, and almost 3% body fat. Is there anybody out there that might have any questions for Jessica at all? A lot of positivity here. It says, this is so awesome, girl. Keep it up. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Hey, Irene, thanks for tuning in. Hey, Rebecca. Rebecca's like, that's my friend Jessica. You look great. That's awesome. Thanks for the positivity, ladies. Anybody else have any other questions for Jessica at all before we sign out here? So again, a couple good takeaways and mental notes that I have is it only gets easier, right?
Yeah.
So don't give up, regardless of what stage you are in your fitness. Again, another thing too that really stuck out to me that you had mentioned is that when you first started is that, you know, you had your good days, you had your bad days, and not being able to breathe. But again, it's that mindset that still led her to where she is today, and she is still here. So I don't really see any questions that anybody have had. Do you have anything else, Jessica, that you'd like to add to, and be able to share with the audience today?
I think I'm okay. I don't think so.
That's okay. So again, guys, we thank you so much for being able to tune in with us for our 9th episode of Coffee with MP. Be on the lookout for other special guests in the near future. Again, we are so happy that you were able to tune in with us this Saturday evening. With that being said, we are going to sign out. Have a blessed day, guys.